Look who's back. Back again. Barry's back. No, I'm kidding, we're not doing the Barry gag.
Oh, thank the Lord for that.
Did you have a lovely time?
I had a wonderful time, Tom. I'm feeling very relaxed. I've spent all of my weekend getting drunk and sitting in the baths with the hot studs steaming up. Sexy news.
Pixar, it didn't happen. A WWE Superstar seems to be unhappy with their position in the company. A WWE Raw star has said they would love to go back to NXT. And we have a return date confirmed for a former WWE Champion. Find out when and who in a bit. You missed so much wrestling.
I've read the results. I haven't watched it yet.
So much wrestling. Not
Good wrestling?
You've missed so much wrestling.
That's what I heard.
So, off the back of a lot of wrestling, a WWE Raw star has announced they are unhappy with their position in the company. I feel like we spin this quite a bit because this keeps coming round.
Well, I think it's more the fact that lots and lots of people seem to be unhappy with their position in the company, and with social media, they're pretty vocal about it. And one person who seems to be unhappy with her position in the company is somebody who's hardly in the company at all right now. It's Naya Jax tweeting, "I'm just going to start another 4 horsewomen group so I can get booked, because talent has nothing to do with it." Triggering people in 3, 2, 1. Triggered!
Oh, congratulations, it worked. You are in the news, Naya.
Right, Nia Jax, right? She's not on TV at the moment anyway. I guess she's good to go, and they just said creative have nothing for you, so they're going to hold off until after Mania. That's what I'm reading in there. That's
Which makes sense.
Yeah, of course it does. Why would you introduce somebody back on TV if you don't want to do anything with them yet, and the focal point is on other people? Also, the 4 horsewomen, right? The wrestling 4 horsewomen, all significantly better than Nia Jax. The MMA 4 horsewomen, 2 of them are better than Nia Jax as well. I'll let you two, you guys figure out which 2. But no,
I'm a big fan of Jessie Manduke as well.
But why would you go and do that? Isn't that just going to create heat for yourself in the locker room?
I feel like it is.
Well, what's the point? You're just running people down. And I get the frustration, because for a long time now, for the past few years, women's matches or women's feuds, the prominent ones on WWE TV, have centred around specifically the 4 horsewomen of wrestling, as well as Rousey and now Shayna Baszler. So I get that as well, but they're all really bloody good, and they're better than Nia.
But they're good, and it makes sense. And it's not as if Nia Jax has had nothing ever.
No,
You
exactly.
know?
She had the big WrestleMania moment. Oh, come on, whatever.
You've done loads. It's not just Nia Jax who has spoken out about some dissatisfaction with the placement within the company. Cedric Alexander went onto Twitter after his blink and you'll miss it match with Riddick Moss on Raw last night as well.
Can't wait to talk about that one. Yeah, he posted the gif from The Simpsons, the burlesque episode. No, what's the name of the?
I can't remember the name of the episode, but I know it's the one where Grandpa takes his hat off.
Bart's working in the. It's not burlesque. Is it burlesque?
I'm sure it's a burlesque
Is it a
one,
burlesque
yeah.
house? The Sex Cauldron, you know the one. Let's shut that place down. He walks in. You know the gif. Why are we explaining that? He just posted that gif on Twitter. I guess referring to his blink and you'll miss it match with Riddick Moss, and Cedric appears to not be very happy as well.
I get it, because there was when we sat here back in the autumn, or if you're in America, the autumn, we talked about how Cedric Alexander was one of those guys that was in the mix for, like, in terms of like Paul Heyman's vision for Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
And then we talked about how he'd fallen out of favour and how there was a lack of identity with him, and now he's just kind of floundering a little bit.
It must be frustrating for him, a man with little to no character at all, losing to a man with even less character in Riddick Moss. I'm kidding. Riddick I quite like. Cedric, amazing wrestler, but like he hasn't really shown any character. There's no reason for us to invest in him apart from the fact that, hey, he's a really good wrestler, but everyone is.
I think with things like this, the timing is quite fortuitous for the Ruthless Aggression documentary. I watched the John Cena episode over the weekend, and John Cena has had a very similar trajectory to a lot of people around WWE at the moment, in the sense they came in with a good upside, strong look, but not much flavour. And like, to the point where, in spoilers for the documentary, John Cena was almost let go at the end of 2002 because he had all this potential but just no character. And someone like Cedric feels like he's in a similar boat, where like lots to offer, just nothing to really grab onto other than you're a good wrestler.
And that's not necessarily Cedric's fault either. That's creator's fault not finding anything for him. Although Gary Garbutt, that was money. Just do that again.
Maybe it's Gary. Maybe Gary is the future. Talking to stars not in favour, where was Ricochet on Raw this week? He wasn't. Do you know where he was?
Catering.
Worse. He was on main event.
What? No way! Did he win?
He beat Eric Young.
He's getting the push that we all...
It reminded me of that scene in Toy Story. That scene in Toy Story where Woody just gets put in the chest with the wrong toys. I'm Woody. Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Oh, that sucks for... I don't know why I'm laughing. I really like Ricochet. Anyway, he's spoken to Good Morning Washington, and he was asked if he'd like to go back to NXT.
And he said, yes, please, dear God, take me back. Blink twice.
Pulling Eric Young by the collar. Come on, you're going to. He said, for sure, that's a place I'd love to go. I call it home for me. It was a place I enjoyed thoroughly when I was there, and now they have more exposure on the USA Network every Wednesday. I think that's huge too. So for me, for sure. Anytime they need a hand from me, I'll be there, no problem. Who can blame him? I imagine there's like half the roster would happily go back to NXT, even if they had to take a pay cut. Do you know what?
And there's been so many stories like this where they've said, oh, I mean, the fact that Matt Hardy was leaving the company and the final bargaining chip, like the ultimate bargaining chip WWE offered was, you can go to NXT if you want. What does that say?
It's really depressing. The developmental brand, I know we're past that a little bit, but it's, creative is just so much better there. You talk about people having characters, and NXT has a lot of characters. Like even the people who before were maybe just really good wrestlers, they're given characters in NXT. I'd like to see Ricochet back down there. I don't think he will be. He's got main event to do.
I was thinking, because last week all this stuff came about that's potentially teased like a Ricochet losing streak angle. He was showed him ripping off his wristbands after his match against, everyone's favourite flavour of the month, Riddick Moss. And we thought maybe this is sort of like a losing streak thing. So I thought, okay, maybe they'll sort of reference it on Raw this week. The fact that he's on main event, now they sent an angle, they literally just put him on main event.
Has he done something awful? Something abhorrent backstage? Because this is like a proper fall from grace.
It really is. Did he say bless you after Vince sneezed?
Took a bite of his meat wrap.
That could be misinterpreted.
But this is like, obviously he was never going to beat Brock or anything, but you're going from WWE title match to main event in 2 weeks?
That is a fall from grace.
That's unprecedented.
That you can see from the moon. Like, that is... I don't know whether anybody has fallen that quick, with the exception maybe the British Bulldog in 1999, when he went from feuding with The Rock to teaming with the Mean Street Posse.
I forgot about that.
Within
Are you watching
2
that
weeks.
back at the moment?
Cultaholic Classic SmackDown review
There's
back
the flag.
next week. Brand new episode with me and Matt. We're watching old episodes of SmackDown. Poor Ricochet. Get well soon, mate. Get back to it. Finalement, Jeffrey Hardy back on WWE television. He made a return like that nice. There you go. There's a GIF. You're welcome. So Jeff Hardy made a return. Basically, he's already made a return. He was on backstage, and up to 12 people watched it. But he's making a proper WWE return very, very soon. Adam Perchiti.
Very soon indeed. First of all, Jeff Hardy looking fantastic.
Oh, he's a great
man.
Nick.
And I was thinking about that beard, right? That must take pissing forever, right? Like doing the little flames or the stripes or whatever they are. So fair play to him. Just like, I know he's had a lot of time to work on the beard. But anyway, he's looking very good. He's going to be back on this week's SmackDown. Jeff announced that he's been cleared to return to the ring. I'm officially cleared, so I've been at SmackDown on Fox for the last 2 weeks. Just waiting for the right creative spot to jump back into the mix. It appears now that creative spot is there for him. What's he going to do?
Ooh, I don't know whether there's time for him to do anything ahead of Mania, unless...
It feels weird to be bringing him back if there's not something in mind.
I'm trying to think what you would put him.
Give him a new tag team partner. Miz and Morrison, they won the Elimination Chamber. Jeff Hardy and Riddick Moss. Give him Ricochet. Drop Ricochet to SmackDown.
Oh, there you go.
Older high flyer, newer high flyer, mentor, student, all of that stuff.
Comments below what you think Jeff will do on Friday. Next week on Raw, a contract signing will take place between two of the guys facing each other at WrestleMania.
That's right. Big AJ Styles and little Mean Mark Palace squaring off with a pen. A lot of contract signings lately, first of all.
Big fan of a contract signing.
What did you think of AJ Styles and saying, Mark's real name, and he's married to Michelle McCool. Oh, Jesus Christ, you like it?
I like it because we now have a very real Undertaker, which is a very different Undertaker to what we normally have around this time. I said this on the news podcast this morning. Potentially, Biker Taker.
Oh, I don't want to say. I don't understand everyone's fascination with this.
Not necessarily full fat Biker Taker, but something
Mark
between.
Just how he is sort of like at home. Maybe not at home in sweatpants. You know what I mean? But he's
sweatpants eating Doritos.
He's into his biking and everything. A toned down. I don't want to see him come out to Limp Bizkit doing the rolling. I don't. If he want to come down on a bike, fine. But I don't want to see full Biker Taker because it wasn't that good. It really wasn't. People look at that through rose-tinted goggles, don't they?
I think we'll get something in the. I think we'll get something in the middle. I think we'll get something a bit dead man and a bit biker. But I think for WrestleMania, I think those green rose-tinted goggles. Will money, and they will probably do some kind of bike-based entrance for Undertaker at Mania.
Yeah, sure.
I feel like they like a good we love a good nostalgia pop at WrestleMania. How about Undertaker coming down on a big old bike? Brum 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 brum
brum brum brum.
Coming to get you, AJ. Brum brum.
It would be nice to see it, I guess, one last time, but I just don't have that fond memories of it. That said, if it were to happen, I'd be jumping off my seat. He's on a bike!
He's on a bike, friends!
Rolling. He's great.